Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pastor Jerone TV. Listen, let's talk about Bubba Wallace, NASCAR driver, black, half-white guy who drives for NASCAR. He's in a privileged position. He's making a lot of money. He's the only black driver for NASCAR. And as far as we know, and he's going on TV and all this kind of stuff, he said that he discovered a noose, or his team discovered that there was a noose in the garage where his car was parked before a NASCAR event. Well, which turns out the FBI dispelled about 14 or 15 FBI agents there to investigate this hate crime. It's amazing that the FBI can pull out all these resources all of a sudden to investigate hate crimes, because the FBI really is a political arm of the Democrat Party now. We found that out during the time with President Donald Trump, as they falsified stuff with Russia. And we're going to find more out about that too. Okay? But they found out that this so-called noose was simply a loop in a rope tied into a knot that people use to put their hand in and to pull the garage door down. But just pulling a straight rope would hurt your hands and burn your hands. I've seen these type of loops in garages. I've seen this. Okay? It wasn't a noose. Okay? But he took the thing and blew it all out of proportion because he is a sympathy-seeking man. Just like Jussie Smollett, just like D.L. Hughley. And these all men are Democrats, and they try to blow stuff up to seek sympathy because sympathy gains them power and influence. If you cannot beat your opponent with facts and information and political talking points, well, then you'll always go to race or sexuality or some kind of made-up hoax to get the sympathy of people, because once people start feeling sympathetic of your situation, they'll stop raising their political point, which is winning the narrative. So their way of stopping you from winning the narrative and winning the talking points is to bring up something that would create sympathy for them. That's how they win. And that's what Jussie Smollett was trying to do when he created a noose. A noose. He gave the boys money, the Nigerian men, money to go buy the noose and to put it around his neck. And he kept it around his neck until the police showed up. These people are very sick. Very, very sick individuals. They'll do anything to win. But these are sympathy-seeking men. And I feel bad for the women nowadays, because these are their pool of men that they have to select from. Okay? They didn't grow up rough and tough. You know, me and my brother, we didn't have a basketball. We put some socks together and made a basket and played basketball for hours. You understand? We had to be creative. You know, life wasn't perfect, but it's all about how you deal with it. This man made a big deal out of something that wasn't nothing. Now here's what he should have asked himself before he even started taking these media tours and talking about the news. Here's what he should have considered. His history with NASCAR and NASCAR's history with him. Has NASCAR ever called you out of your name? Have they ever used the N-word with you? Has there ever been a noose in any garage besides this event? Has NASCAR ever made you start in a race laps behind everybody else because you're black? Okay? Has NASCAR paid you less because you're black than everybody else? What has been the history with racism in NASCAR with you? What have they done to you personally? Okay? That's what I would ask. Okay? If the answer is nothing and they've been fair, well, then why all of a sudden would you think that this rope tied in a knot has something to do with you? This man is so sensitive. They take his car and push his car up to the front. He gets out of the car and crawls on the top of it and starts crying. Very, very sad display. Very sad display of manhood. And it was a very sad acting display, because there was really all about seeking sympathy. And this is what the media, they jumped all over it. They jumped all over a false story, just as they did with Jussie Smollett. And they didn't learn their lesson from that. They never apologized to the media, to the public, for putting this Jussie Smollett story out as if it was true. And the same thing with this story. They're not going to go back and apologize. And this man, Bubba Wallace, he needs to apologize. He needs to apologize to America. Because here we are in the midst of racial division, and he made a noose, a knot in a rope, a hot racial topic. Okay? He needs to apologize for that. Nobody purposely did that, because they didn't even know he was going to be in that garage. And then let me say this. Let me say this. I'm gonna get out of here. Did y'all see the Father's Day weekend in Chicago? Did y'all hear about that? Something like 80 shootings, 60 shootings. 14 to 16 people were killed. Babies were included in this. And all of them were black lives. All of them were black lives. And what I was saying about Colin Kaepernick and Black Lives Matter, they do not care about the black community. Colin Kaepernick, since you're a hero and taking a knee is what you do, go out there to Chicago and take a knee in the middle of the streets. Black Lives Matter, you just got $3 billion from the sympathy of corporate America, right? And you used the death of George Floyd, a black man, to gain sympathy enough to get money from people and corporations. Go over there and take that money and cause peace to rule in the streets of Chicago. Where's Black Lives Matter? Did the mayor out there write Black Lives Matter in the middle of the streets? Listen to me, people. If it doesn't get political points, it's not worth the effort to save a black life. That's all that's about. If black lives really mattered, Black Lives Matter. These people destroyed America. They destroyed cities. They tore up businesses. They burned America down over one black life. One. But here we have 60 black lives that were in danger, and some of them died in a big shooting on Father's Day. And isn't that symbolic? Isn't that symbolic? Father's Day, and these blacks over here in Chicago go crazy on Fatherless Day. Because one of the problems in the black community is that it is a fatherless community. And that, thanks to the Democrat policy with food stamps programs and WIC programs for the black mothers, they kicked the father out of the house and said, you cannot have a man in the house if you're going to receive these public assistance. And it's a fatherless America. And if Black Lives Matter, and if Colin Kaepernick was a true hero, they'd be over there in Chicago right now emptying their pockets and raising media attention to this. So the point is being made right there in your face that 60 lives compared to one man who died at the hand of a white police officer, which was murder, and the man was arrested. Everything should have been calmed down after that. But no, they proceeded to tear down America. And you know what this is all about? You know what those riots were about? Donald Trump. Donna Trunt. They don't care about a black life. Democrats have never cared about black lives. They've never cared about black lives. Joe Biden was one of the king racists. And he, Obama, and Hillary attended the funeral of a racist man. Very well known. And what I've been trying to tell people on my channel here and on my Facebook page, Pastor Jerone TV, Pastor Jerone Davison, is that it's the Democrats who have had a history and a current history of the racism. Now, why is it in Chicago that we can't get the politicians, nor Black Life, nor Colin Kaepernick, nor Nike, nor Bank of America to go out there and bring attention to these black lives that were taken? Hey, that was just my thought. I didn't want to do a long video. Let me know what y'all think about this whole matter. And I'll see y'all on the next video.